there was something which was called a National Congress. And after that, there were several things which actually happened, which through some discord in the organization. We are going to address that issue. The way we are going to organize this press conference is that after I have actually finished the introductory remarks, I'm going to ask Honorable Mudzuri to address you all. And then after his address, we are going to open up to you, members of the press, who may want to ask a few questions to do so. So that's the way we are going to run this press. And without further ado, I would like to call upon Honorable Mudzuri to address us. Thank you.
We want the world to know, and especially the MDC family, to know what is going on. I think there hasn't been much that has been coming out of the MDC leadership. We thank you all for attending this press conference, wherein we assemble to state our position and stance regarding the recent events happening within the MDC. From its inception in 1999, the MDC is well known as a democratic party whose core values are enunciated in Articles 4.5 and 4.6 of the party's constitution. Article 4.5 states that the MDC considers democracy as a core value. To that extent, its policies are to be determined by its membership, and further, its leadership shall be accountable to the people as defined by the Constitution. Further, Article 4.6 states that, and I quote, the MDC family believes in freedom of expression, and further, the free circulation of ideas and information within the movement. It is apparent that from the passing away of its iconic leader, Dr. Morgan Richard Tsvangirai in 2018, the party has an unprecedented erosion of these values, as self-appointed persons have taken turns to violate the party's sacrosanct document, the party's constitution. In particular, the so-called successive presidents have unashamedly failed to uphold the values and principles enshrined in the constitution of the party, especially Article 912, which spells out the duties of the president. Article 912 specifically requires the president to A, uphold and defend the party's constitution, 2, uphold and defend the principles of the party, 3, promote the principles of democratic discourse, participation, and equality of all members within the party. In the recent past, one Douglas Mwonzora abused the party's constitution by implementing unconstitutional processes, which culminated in the installation of a party leadership through an ineligible group of people outside the National Congress, as mandated by the party's constitution. This was a blatant attempt by Douglas Mwonzora to take over the party through an unconstitutional process. It is in this view of the above that the membership of the MDC, who hold strong beliefs that their party is membership and structure driven, cannot remain bystanders in the process, and now seek to redress the situation and ensure that the provisions and processes stated in the party's constitution are followed to the letter. The party constitution is very clear on how the party is organized, managed, and how leadership positions are filled. And more importantly, the inalienable roles of party structures in such processes. Its electable roles of party structures in such processes. Accordingly, for Douglas Mwonzora, to usurp the powers of the party branches, wards, districts and provinces in the National Congress agenda renders such an event null and void and hence of no force or effect. To expand on this, to all the public who are listening to us, our Congress starts at the branch. The branch is where every member of MDC starts from. Every 5 years, the party branches conduct congresses to elect branch office bearers. These newly elected branch officers then elect ward officers. The newly elected ward officers elect district officers. The newly elected district leadership officers elect provincial leadership. The provincial leadership, together with the district leadership and ward leadership, is called to a congress, which will nominate the top hierarchy at provincial level to choose the leadership at the top, which will constitute the National Council and the National Executive. Then the National Congress, which elects the National Standing Committee, will convene with the elected Congress members. It is a misnomer to think that the National Council can exist without undergoing the above processes. The National Council is a product of the above processes. And it is correct to say that there is no National Council without structures. Ask any of the bogus National Council members who have been put in the council today, and it becomes clear that the party's constitution was grossly violated. 5 of our provinces, of the MDC provinces, namely Marsh West, Marsh Ringo, Marsh South, Midlands North, and MDC USA, issued a press statement before this Congress, the said Congress, condemning the unconstitutional nominations for president and other senior party officers by a bogus National Council without a local standing. Therefore, they ruled the nomination process and ensuring process, the Congress is now and void and of no force and effect. We, in our leadership today, are trying to recorrect and redress that. As you are aware, seven members and many other members have been suspended of late by the very illegitimate council. We have been accused, these people have been accused of not towing the line. Oh, sorry. I'm reading the wrong script. Anyway, I didn't want to come to that. It is well known that, it was a well-known fact that the so-called National Congress purportedly held by Douglas Mwonzora was not preceded by lower level congresses, making such a National Congress unconstitutional. What we are stressing is that whatever is going on, the MDC lacks leadership at present, because the Congress that came about, it has dissatisfied all the lower members because they didn't participate in it. And we are saying we are working with all the members, including those who are bogus in their present positions, to try to reconstitute the lower structures to ensure that a proper Congress is here. So the subsequent membership, suspension of members by person emerging from such an illegal Congress, which lasted maybe for 1.5 hours, as I wasn't in the process, is of no force or effect, and hence rejected outright by most of the members. To move the party forward, consultations are in the process with members of all structural levels in order to review the party structures. which in turn will constitute the Electoral College for a properly constituted Congress. In the meantime, we urge our members out there to listen to us, organize yourselves at branch level, organize yourselves at ward level, organize yourselves at district level, and do the proper process of forming structures that will eventually elect an MDC leadership. And we want everyone to remain calm. The party is not boiling. It is just recorrecting itself to make sure that the membership is given a chance to choose its leadership. And that's where we stand as a principled leadership. We think, without saying this to the world and asking our membership to come together, we will not have done a service to the nation. In short, I want to say, there is no individual who is bigger than an institution. And the institution of MDC must be preserved. And preserving the MDC institution, which is now 23 years after what has happened, and people believed in us that we were going to deliver. And when the day our iconic leader died, everything became chaotic. So it's up to all Zimbabweans to ensure that the institution called MDC wakes up and it lives to its expectations of delivering the political, economic, and social goods to the Zimbabwean public. I thank you.
Why should Zimbabweans vote for MDC, a part that is currently going through a leadership crisis when there are other alternatives? My question is directed at you, Mr. Mudzuri.
Okay, any other questions?
Right. Okay. Thank you. It's a brilliant question. What we are saying is that when there is a leadership crisis in an institution, first the institution must be organized well enough to be able to run the country. What we are stating is if you ask any MDC member, here present or outside, they might tell you that they are not ready for elections because we need to organize the party. It is the party branches, the party wards, and the party districts that effectively manage to convince people at grassroots level that they are well represented. Without those, you can't pretend that we are going to go to an election and win it. So we don't want disasters. We just have to preserve our institution first. If we were to work hard and preserve our institution and elect an electable president, not anyone who could be electable according to the MDC structures, I think we could get to an election with a sound head. But as we are now, we are stating that without following our own procedures, how do we follow the country's procedures? We are principled enough to say, I would rather not be in an election than follow an institution that is being destroyed.
So now, what is the next course of action? Now that you've spoken out and say that there is leadership crisis, what are you going to do about it as members of the MDC?
I've already responded to say we want every member of our structures down there. That's why I'm addressing them. I've been in the party since the founding days. I've worked with the party as its organizing secretary. I'm asking them that, look, this is your institution, it's like your home. Let's build the proper structures and not destroy the institution. It's not about me. It's about every MDC member to see something that has gone 22 years to just go down the line and be shredded to a very small unit. We used to attract crowds, we used to attract so many people. So we need to build that understanding. The cohesiveness of the MDC family needs to be brought to the fore. By bringing our structures to understand that there are people interested in bringing them together and working together, we bring the same spirit that we started with. And everybody must go to the core values of MDC.
We must accept as Zimbabweans that Zimbabwe will not die after 2023 elections. There's life after that. we need to recorrect ourselves, reorient ourselves, and begin to move ahead. Even though perhaps one might think that it is at a late stage at the present moment, but we've got to look ahead and see where we are going. And more importantly, what we are saying too is that the task of actually putting a party into governance is premised on the fact that actually we have got a core of people who resonate with their supporters. Now, where we are is a little bit difficult in the sense that actually we do not think that we do have a party that can actually do the job for us to bring true liberation to Zimbabweans who are suffering. You know the economic problems which you are facing in the country. Some party must be able to look at those kind of issues and begin to address them in a way that actually uplifts their lives.
So in this case, you feel the MDC has that capacity to address those issues?
We are saying that we want to reorganize, restructure the MDC and put in the right kind of people, and the institutions or the structures must be able, because we are a democratic party, the structures must be able to make the right kind of decisions. This is a social democratic party, and the social democratic party has to address issues and has to listen to his people, not have somebody who says that he can actually do whatever he wants and begin to chase around people and all those kind of things. We don't want to have that kind of thing, and it doesn't augur well for the future if we put that kind of leadership.
The other function of the MDC led by Nelson Chamisa were pulled out of the MDC. We saw you supporting or being part of the other faction that chased away the other faction. But when that was happening, it happened at your party headquarters at Harvest House, what is now known as the Mwonzora House. Are you now in control, saying that you are now having a meeting at restaurants like this? Do you think you are still in control of the party, or you have now become just a breakaway faction? Do you think you are in control, given your venue and setting and where you are now? Do you think you are in control, or it's better for you to build from afresh rather than fighting Mwonzora, who seems like is in control of the party, in terms of your MPs, in terms of your funds? Are you in control of the party?
Look, you cannot ask whether we are in control, whether we are at Harvest House at present. Why we chose this place? It's because we are differing with the purported leadership. What we are agreeing is we remain members of MDC. Whoever wants to leave might leave. We are not here to say Harvest House, yes, is the seat of MDC, but for now we are organizing members to make sure that individuals are not more important than the party. We are appealing, when we are doing this press statement, we are talking to our members in MDC to understand what has taken place. And they already understand, but they want us to address this to the public and the world, that they need even you as a journalist to help to say, should MDC be dead? MDC should not die, because it has already lived 22 years of working together. So when people are splitting and going wherever, they are splitting because they are becoming selfish. If you read my introduction, I explained that leader after leader, they become selfish and want to pull this thing to themselves. So it's now up to the MDC structures. We will work with them to make sure that they choose the leaders. Even outside me, they choose whom they want to run this institution. This institution was founded on the principle of natural justice, democracy, social democracy, and integrity. Those things must be done. What we are seeing today, you as a journalist, there is no integrity in Running a Congress that is 1.5 hours, and you say we're finished. When South Africa was having a same conference, they had 5 days. Policies are pronounced. You chart your 5-year forward, and nothing happens. And we smile to say, yeah, they've done their Congress. It is not a Congress. It is not people-based. That is what we are talking about here. So it's just about taking power. You can always take power if you want. But people will judge you. People will refuse you. It is the people we are appealing to who belong to the MDC to say, don't kill your organization, because you don't even know where you're going. You will be moving, running with a person. That person is knocked by a car. You don't even know whether you're the party or not. So you must be more principled to run within your party and control your party and eliminate leaders who are failing to run the party. Where you are and where you're coming from is not a problem. Maybe if you were a member, you could become the president after all this process.
I'd like to emphasize, because of the kind of question which you asked, I would like to emphasize that we are not a violent party. It's one of our core principles. We are not a violent party. Whatever we are talking about is not something that happens overnight in one fell swoop. We want to be in control every minute, the very minute when we go on stage. That's not what we are trying to do. It's a process. And we are saying we are taking the process so that we establish something that has got a strong foundation. So whoever is actually sitting in a particular office at this particular point in time, that's not where the party is, that's not where the people are. We are saying we are working with the people to ensure that the party rebuilds itself and re-emerges from the doldrums where it is at this particular point in time, and re-establishes itself as initially as a good opposition party, and possibly in future to govern this country.
You don't rush to elect a person whom you might expect to govern you and put you in a worse situation. An institution like, you know what happened to Boris Johnson? He was removed as Prime Minister. It's not just about winning elections. It's also about what you want to deliver. Let's set everyone's policies, and if people are given a chance to vote for their best candidate, that is what we are looking at. It's not about an individual, I beg. The one who is after sacking. Actually, I've been one of the people who have always preached about unity. Unity is not about individuals. It's about working together. And you have never seen me talking about those things. And I don't want to go into areas where when people fail, you might keep into a home. Not because you are agreeing, but because you are saying, what did you do to change? But right now where we've reached a stage where MDC is becoming a dot. It's no longer the party it was. And we urge members of, even I failed to do that as a member who has been almost at the top of the party, to say, wait, ngatisangane tibatanidze chinhu ichi tigadzire musangano, kubuda musangano handiyo answer. We can all correct each other. If someone has done wrong here, someone has done wrong there, we will all do the same thing and end up with a proper party. I've been a vice president of Zimbabwean. I'm not complaining with that Zimbabwe. I'm saying the topmost guy matters. So let's not put people into leadership for the sake of them to reward opposition for the sake of opposition. Opposition must have serious policies. People are tired of fake leaders. You say you want to lead people who go to we all came to say Mugabe must go. Today we are still crying. So it's not about a person, it's about the institution that must run and deal with the economic, social, and political problems in the country.
So are you saying those records were in line with the constitution of the party?
Am I saying?
The records, because there is no record of you coming out in the open to denounce those records.
Because kana wakura musunorega mwana akaita chinhu nomurayira mba hambodaidziri. I'm now talking because of the latest event which we addressed. We addressed the event of the Congress. And we want a proper Congress done.
Yeah, maybe I will attend to the issue Yema recalls. There's a misconception regarding the issue of recalls in this country, because the MDC was recalling the MPs Wakangawapinda under the MDC alliance. The constitution here, Nyika and the MDC is very clear. Kuti uka ngewa wakonana ne party sponsor into parliament or into council, you get recalled. ZANU-PF recalls people. The advocate Chamisa wakarikola wana Madam Kube pawakanetsana bye. And the Mwonzora wakashita shakari. I'm not trying to defend or justify the recalls that were being done by Mwonzora, because they were a bit too harsh, and the items political scoring, but legally there is that clause in the national constitution and in the MDC constitution that talks about recalls. They are there, they do exist, and they've been done across the board. It's only the maybe intensity that they were being done na Mwonzora ikuti vaiti wakarowa vosia, and also when you fail to then field your own candidates when you have recalled. This is, I think, where the problem should be. But issue Yema recalls, they do exist in all political parties. Everyone has recalled somebody at some stage, and even Wachangirai, Baka, Zingavana BT, and Vanamangoma and the others, bye. So issue Yema recalls, in my view, must be taken very holistic. It's something, it's a legal requirement when the party feels that someone is no longer representing its interests, and they remove them from parliament or from council. That would be my response to that.
That to do with this agenda, agenda to not part Iraq, because already because Mwonzora they are no longer representing the party because they didn't come from what? From the grassroots. So the organization are going up Mwonzora no abuse. And if you read our introduction, leaders have abused. So when they abuse, but I'm no manager. That's why we call for a press conference. Timbo open up to start session. And we go no parliament, parliament. Let's talk about what we should do. You mean, Mr. Journalist, MDC had 23 years. Irarame. Because you are much a Buddha and one a good to Saka, most of the party there, they take a Gazira, farm. This is our main thing. And we say, party guy with its leaders, including me, Garansika body, but Wajisa leaders, and open nature in Nika, put it good in Tigo Gazisa, Pumi Wenika, Vanessa Ramias, Sanoka,
Can I do the same kind of thing that he is an individual, he is the party, he has no structures, he has no constitution. So how is he going to rule this country if he wins an election? I'm relating this to the questions which we were asking when we were talking about the forthcoming elections. I don't think we should just merely focus on an individual. We should focus on the institution. Is the institution right? Will it carry the wishes of the masses for their benefit? If you cannot stick to a constitution in your own party, how will you be able, when you actually assume the topmost position, post in government, how are you going to actually to stick to the constitution of the country? That is very dangerous. And this is what we are fighting against, constitutionalism. And MDC is a constitutional party. Thank you very much for coming.
We just want to appeal to people to say, talk to Zimbabweans, let's discuss this. This becomes a topical issue in Zimbabwe. Are we making institutions? The institutions must make sure that they protect the integrity of that institution so that individuals who come and go are not going to disrupt the performance of that institution. I thank you.
Thank you.